Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've often heard people sometimes say, my clothes always look cheap. And I think that what they're saying is they're just not happy with the appearance of their clothing. They feel like their clothes don't look elevated or expensive. So today I'm going to walk you through 5 really easy ways to ensure that whatever's hanging in your closet, regardless of how much that item cost, it's always going to look absolutely beautiful, and therefore it's going to help you look more elevated and also feel more polished. All right, so again, I just want to preface this by saying it does not matter how much you're spending on a particular piece of clothing. I mean, obviously there's something to be said for getting what you pay for, but you guys know my situation. I flipped fast fashion out of my closet about a year and a half ago. But that being said, when I made that decision, I didn't have the luxury of just like chucking everything from Old Navy, and going out and splurging on $10,000 worth of clothes from more elevated brands. So I really became educated and very good at learning how to care for my clothing properly, regardless of how much I paid for that item. So the first tip, super simple. When you are hanging a jacket or a shirt, anything with buttons, always make sure the top button remains buttoned. There's a number of different reasons you want to do this. First and foremost, it keeps the collar of that item from splaying, from looking like a piece of fried bacon, and it's just that little attention to detail. A flat laying collar versus one that's all rumpled and, as I said, just kind of crinkly looking, that is going to make that piece look more expensive and also help you feel more polished. When it comes to jackets, I will keep the top button buttoned, of course, but then I typically don't button the rest of the jacket just because normally when I'm reaching for one, it's early in the morning when I'm throwing on a layering piece as I'm going out for a walk. And at 5:30 in the morning, I really don't feel like fiddling with opening, 7 buttons. I just keep the top button buttoned on my jackets. But when it comes to button-down shirts, whether they are long sleeve, short sleeve, dressy, or casual, not only do you really want to keep that top button buttoned, but you also just want to button the rest of the buttons. This is mainly because you want to make sure that placket stays nice and stiff. You don't want it to start gapping or showing skin, obviously. And then I take the same approach with the buttons on the cuff of my shirts. I keep them buttoned for the same exact reason. I want that hem, that cuff to stay really nice looking. I want it to look like a tailored piece. Again, regardless if you spent $25 on a white button down or $250 on a white button down, you can just as easily preserve the former as you can totally destroy the latter just from improper care. All right, my second tip is to absolutely invest in some good quality hangers. Obviously, the way that you store your clothes is going to play a huge part in their longevity, how they look, and it's also going to ensure that they don't start falling apart sooner than they should. I recently invested in wooden hangers. This was like a dream of mine, just to have a closet that is filled with wooden hangers. And I love, number one, the way it looks. Like aesthetically, it's just a beautiful look. And I'm a firm believer that, when you step into your closet, regardless of the size of your closet, if it's really nicely put together, if it's aesthetically pleasing, if your closet itself looks polished, then you're going to feel more polished too. Now, like I said, I love wooden hangers for jeans, pants, skirts. I love them for shirts. And what I like about the style that I got is they do have the little notch. So that way, if you have a spaghetti strap or like a silkier blouse, it'll catch on that notch and it won't be slipping off. However, that being said, although I love wooden hangers, I understand that they do take up a lot of space in your closet, and obviously not a lot of people has the luxury of a massive closet space. That's why my second recommendation is to go with a velvet hanger. These are obviously like super, super thin. I used these for years. They're beautiful. I mean, nothing's going to slip off of them, which is great. They also have the little notch. I had these in the pants version as well, the style that can hang pants, jeans, skirts. These are fantastic. Like I said, great space savers and something that just looks nicer than an ugly, mismatched plastic hanger. But even if, like, let's say velvet hangers aren't your thing, you don't have the space for wood hangers, if you like a more minimal utilitarian vibe, even like wire hangers are making a comeback, and they don't look like the ones you get from the dry cleaner, right? Like they're just kind of thin, everything slips off of them. They have some beautiful wire hanger choices that are a little bit thicker that just look really elevated and beautiful. Okay, my third, fourth, and fifth tips have to do with the actual care of your clothes. And the first tip I want to give you is to absolutely invest in a steamer. That being said, there's nothing that can beat an iron for getting out wrinkles. However, I understand some people either hate ironing or you're a busy person, you have an active lifestyle, you have kids, maybe you just don't have time for ironing. At the very least, invest in a great steamer. You can buy steamers that are handheld like this one. You can get one that's more of like a pro version that is really, really beautiful. But either way, a gentle steam on your clothing is going to release those wrinkles, and therefore it's just going to look better. It's not going to look disheveled. The other tip I'm going to give you is the timing of steaming and ironing your clothes. I think the mistake a lot of us make is that we wash our clothes and then we just hang them up in the state that they're in. So what happens is when you go to pull that piece out and it's all wrinkled, you're either feeling like, oh, I don't want to take the time to iron this. I'm already running late. I don't have time to steam it. And so you just throw it on. And I'm seeing this more and more, people wearing clothing out in public that's totally wrinkled, totally disheveled. And believe me, I understand that there's some fabrics that just naturally wrinkle like linen. It's just the name of the game. But I think what we're seeing more often than not is just, like I said, people wash their clothes, they hang it up because they don't want to iron or steam it right then and there. And then when they go to reach for that piece, it's all wrinkled and they just don't want to bother steaming or ironing it. So they throw it on and they're out the door. What I suggest doing is just get it over with. The minute you pull your clothes out of the washing machine and you let them air dry, give them a quick steam or iron before you put them away. That way they are ready to go the minute you want to wear them and you don't have to worry about steaming or ironing, let's say when you're running late or when you just don't have the time to do it. The other tip I have for you is to stop overwashing your clothes. We are all guilty of just washing, and then we wonder why our clothes start to fall apart, why they just don't stand the test of time. And again, this applies to clothing that comes from Old Navy, the same as it does from a higher end brand. It doesn't matter really how much that piece of clothing is. If you care for it properly, you're going to see its shelf life extended. I mean, I can tell you, I still have tops from Old Navy and H&M hanging in my closet. And because I care for them properly, they look brand new. Conversely, you can easily go out and drop $500 on a dress, skirt, top, whatever. And if you don't properly care for it, it will literally disintegrate on you. So when I say stop overwashing, what do I mean? Obviously, if you're wearing workout clothes, if you get dirty, absolutely wash those clothes before you wear them again. But when it comes to something like, let's say your denim jacket, you don't have to throw this in the washer after every time you wear it. In fact, I think with denim, most brands and labels will say like wash it every fifth wear. But even so, a lot of natural fiber clothing, which you guys know I gravitate towards, is antimicrobial inherently. So pieces like wool, merino wool, cashmere, even silk, they naturally cleanse the bacteria out of themselves, so you don't have to wash them every single time you wear them. And if you're finding odors, especially in the armpit area, a great tip is to give that area a gentle steam with your steamer. That'll help kill the bacteria so that that clothing stays and smells fresh. Okay, guys, and the final tip I have for you is to air dry your clothing versus sticking it in the dryer. I can tell you that I air dry about 99% of my clothing. It just helps extend the wear. I really do avoid high heat at all costs. If I am sticking something in the dryer, it's always done on low heat. A trick I have to share for you, this is actually what my husband gave me, is once you're done washing your clothing, which again, I prefer gentle cycle or hand washing cycle with cold water, but you can take items and stick them into the dryer on low heat for about 5 minutes and then air dry it. I find that that method just helps release a lot of the wrinkles by giving it like the tiniest amount of heat for a short amount of time. It seems so inconsequential, but I've noticed a major difference. And then again, after that 5 minutes is done, I hang everything to dry. Okay, guys, so that'll do it for 5 super simple, easy, inexpensive ways that you can avoid feeling like your clothes look cheap or feeling as though your clothing is falling apart way sooner than you think it should. I will have some of these items listed and linked for you down below if they're things you want to start incorporating into your wardrobe and its care. But in any event, thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.